What's the story we're telling each other without really saying the words? We'll talk more about it right after this.
Let's talk about love and marriage the way that God intended. Life experience, here we share it. The No Fruit Podcast. Tune in from any platform. No Fruit Podcast. We'll help your spirit transform.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the No Fruit Podcast, where your spirits will transform, but my face won't. Because many people say I wear my thoughts on my face. I'm an open book, I guess, in some ways. So reading between the lines and trying to figure out what my thoughts might be, you don't have to think too much because I'm kind of showing it. But if you know me really well, you might understand that the things that I'm showing on my face may not really be true to what I'm really thinking. So some people may say that I look upset or sad, and I might not be. I might be very happy and blissful, but I'm just not walking around with a, smiley smile all the day long. But so what story are we telling? Even when we're not using our words, when we're not saying anything, my face shows a lot of things. Sometimes it is our body language and how we connect one with another from just the spatial, the space that we have between one another. Like, are we walking closely next to someone? When it comes to our spouse, our loved ones, what's that connection? Are we standoffish? And what energy does that present to that person? How are they reading that? What are they reading between the lines of our body language? And sometimes it's off, but sometimes it's right on point. So we need to understand that a little bit better on what we're giving out to the world and how are people receiving it, even though we're not saying anything. And that can be difficult. I know it has been for me to kind of check myself, as Maurice is always saying, look at the man in the mirror. So I don't walk around with a mirror, but if I did, I'm sure I would probably, again, look at some of my facial expressions and be like, girl, get it together, because it's not coming off appealing. It's not coming off welcoming. Or maybe I'm being too pleasant or Joe, if you will. And I don't mean to, and I don't want to. So we have to be cautious on not only our facial expressions and our body language, but also, as I was saying, sometimes just that distance between one another. So when you walk in the room, or when I walk in the room with my spouse, like, how close am I getting to him? If we sit down on the sofa, am I on one side and he's on the other, even though we're sitting down to look at the same TV show? Or do we cuddle up together? Is it cuddle time with your cuddle buddy? And all those things mean something special to some people, and other people it's like, no, it doesn't mean anything at all. But when we look deeper into it, there are people who take that as a sign and a signal about your love and your relationship. Some people take what you give off as a sign and a signal for what's going to happen later on that evening. So we just have to be cautious, and I ask you all to be cautious of just reading between the lines and checking yourself on what message you're putting out to the world. But likewise, also for those who are readers, dearest gentle reader, for those who know about that, to our dearest gentle readers, what are you reading? How are you reading the room? What do you see? Are you putting more into it than what's really there? And then I guess with that, should you use words to clarify what you think you're reading when someone is, providing non-verbal communication? I think sometimes we do need to ask, like, hey, what's going on? Like, I see that you seem tense. Or, hey, like, you're just overly happy today. What's going on? Because then you can join in with that if need be. If it is a low moment, you can meet that person right where they are. And if they're having a happy, joyful moment, perhaps you can pick it up and meet them at that place as well. So I think when it comes to our relationships, whether it's with your spouse, a sibling, a child, a parent, we read between the lines often. And it's important that we know what we're reading and be able to assess it properly, because you don't want to read something and have, poor reading comprehension. So know what you're reading, what level it is, because someone's expression may mean one thing at one period of the day or one time of the month, if you will, and it may mean something else at another moment. And it could be the same body language. It could be the same expression, the same energy, but sometimes it's how you receive it or what else is going on at that particular time that can impact it all. So we need to understand also what can we do in this to ensure ourselves as well as the other people in the relationship that we're both understanding this story that we're writing, that we're reading between the lines, both of us are properly. And I think that comes back to it has to do more than reading. Like you have to talk about the story together. Ask questions, play things out. This is what I see, am I seeing these things correctly? I think those are key elements that could help in just moving things forward in that way of understanding what the story is and what is being told. We don't want to get things totally misconstrued and, you're reading into things so far and it's not even there, like we can take our imagination and go so far off left, go so deep right, and it's not even anywhere near the truth of the story. So I think even when you are receiving or even giving off nonverbal communication, that is key that you check in every now and then, whether it's a weekly check-in with your spouse, your significant other, anyone you're in a relationship, just kind of check in like, hey, last week you seemed like you were feeling this kind of a way. Was I reading that right? And did I provide for you what was needed? And that's true communication. That's verbal communication that you're providing to get clarity on some nonverbal things. So at the end of the day, whatever is going on nonverbally, whatever is going on and you think you're reading it correctly between the lines, you might need to go back and read it again and then sit down in a study group and, find out whether or not your reading comprehension was true or not true. So I hope you all enjoyed my little spiel. I hope it's helpful to some of you out there. And don't read between the lines. Send us some communication. Let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, God bless you all.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the No Fruit Podcast, where we bring you fruitful conversations, ripened wisdom, and love that's deeply rooted. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration in their day. Until next time, stay rooted in love, and remember, every seed you plant today shapes the fruit of tomorrow.